They say a mother's love is unconditional, a boundless ocean, a guiding star. But what they don't tell you is that it's also a battlefield, a constant negotiation between protection and freedom, between what you know is right and what your child believes they need. For years, I thought I'd mastered that delicate dance with my son, Mark. He was my world, my only child, and I'd poured every ounce of my being into giving him life better than my own. This apartment, this 2-bedroom haven in a bustling corner of Brooklyn, was the cornerstone of that dream. My childhood home, yes, but more than that, it was a testament to every late night, every sacrifice, every penny saved. A tangible piece of my history and now his stepping stone. I renovated it for him when he started college. A fresh coat of paint, new floors, a modern kitchen. Not because he asked, but because I wanted him to have a space of his own, a place where he could truly thrive. He was 17, eager to spread his wings, and honestly, what 17-year-old boy doesn't want to live alone? It was closer to his university, a perfect launch pad. And he did thrive. He moved in, embraced the independence, and later, when he shifted to part-time studies to gain experience in the tech world, he proudly paid the rent himself. My Mark, always so earnest, so eager to prove himself. Then came Chloe, bright, ambitious, with a smile that could disarm anyone. Mark met her in college, and they were inseparable. She was charming, undeniably so. But even then, there was a subtle sweetness about her that felt manufactured. Like those perfect, glossy strawberries you see in the supermarket, beautiful, red, but lacking the true scent and taste of a real berry. I characterized her to myself as a slippery individual, but I kept my thoughts to myself. It wasn't my place. He didn't ask, and besides, I wasn't the one who had to live with her. Maybe she was only like that with me, and completely different with him. How was I to know? But she showed her true colors soon enough. Chloe, fresh out of law school, was applying for a prestigious government position. A big deal. The kind of job that screams stability, security, a future, and with that kind of job comes a rigorous background check. They needed documents, proof of residence, proof of ownership, and that's when the cracks started to show. She discovered the apartment Mark lived in, the one they lived in, was still legally mine. Not his, not theirs, mine. It shattered her perception of security, of Mark's independence. It ignited a deep-seated insecurity about her future, about her place in our family. I suppose I should have seen it coming. The subtle questions about the deed, the casual remarks about property values. But I dismissed them as youthful curiosity. A new lawyer eager to understand the world. How wrong I was. Mark, we need to talk. Now. This isn't what I thought. Chloe, what's wrong? You sound upset. Is it the job? The job? The job is fine, Mark. What's not fine is that you lied to me. This apartment, it's not yours. It's your mother's. How could you not tell me? How could you let me believe we had a home, a real home, when it's just borrowed? Lit? Chloe, I didn't lie. It's my mother's, yes, but it's always been understood it would be mine eventually. It's a family legacy. What's the big deal? It's not like she's going to kick us out. Not kick us out. Mark, this isn't about being kicked out. This is about security, about commitment. How can I build a future with you? How can I feel secure when our home isn't even ours? You need to talk to your mother. You need to have her transfer the deed to your name. Now. Transfer the deed? Chloe, that's a huge step. My mother, she's very particular about her property. It's her history. Then she needs to understand that our future is more important than her history. If you're serious about us, Mark, you'll do this. Or maybe you're not as committed as say you are. That was the inciting incident. The moment the perfect facade cracked. Mark, bewildered, caught between the woman he loved and the mother who had given him everything. And Chloe, feeling deeply insecure, her ambition now tinged with a dangerous desperation. The stage was set. The family drama had begun, and I, unknowingly, was about to be pulled into the center of it all. The aftermath of that confrontation hung heavy in the air. Mark called me, his voice strained, confused. He tried to explain Chloe's outburst, tried to rationalize her demands. But I heard the unspoken plea in his voice. He was caught. And Chloe, feeling unsupported by Mark, did what any good daughter would do. She called her mother. Diana, a woman I knew only vaguely from family gatherings, but whose reputation for pragmatism and fierce protectiveness of her daughters preceded her. And Diana, seeing her daughter's distress and perhaps a potential threat to her own family's financial future, wasted no time. Elena? Diana? Chloe's mother. We need to talk about this apartment situation. My daughter is distraught. She feels completely insecure in her own home. You need to transfer that deed to Mark. It's only fair. Diana, with all due respect, my property is my business, and Mark's future is my concern. The apartment will be his in time. There's no need for this urgency. Elena, my daughter is trying to build a life, a career. She needs stability. She needs to feel like she has a stake. What kind of message are you sending holding on to that deed? That you don't trust her? That you don't trust your own son? I trust my son implicitly. It's not about trust, Diana. It's about legacy. It's about my hard work. And frankly, it's about you interfering in matters that don't concern you. My generosity is not to be exploited. Generosity? It sounds more like control to me. Look, Elena, either you transfer that apartment, or we're going to have a much bigger problem on our hands. Chloe deserves better than this uncertainty. That was the first direct clash, the opening salvo. Elena feeling her generosity exploited. Diana viewing my refusal as an act of deliberate obstruction. The battle lines were drawn, and Mark, my poor Mark, was right in the middle. As if the domestic turmoil wasn't enough, Mark's world at work began to unravel too. He was leading a crucial project at his tech startup, a make-or-break initiative. But his focus was divided. His mind, I imagined, was replaying Chloe's accusations, Diana's demands. He was struggling to maintain his usual calm, his usual competence. The project, already ambitious, hit unexpected technical difficulties. Deadlines loomed. His team, sensing his distraction, grew restless. Mr. Harrison, his boss, a man who demanded excellence, started to notice. The subplot, this parallel struggle, highlighted Mark's desperate attempt to maintain control in a life that was rapidly slipping away from him. No, this can't be right. The code's breaking. Why is it breaking? We tested this. Mark, a word. The numbers aren't adding up. And your team, they're looking to you for answers. We need this project back on track. What's going on? I'm on it, Mr. Harrison. Just a few more bugs to iron out. We'll hit the deadline. I promise. I hope so, Mark. Because promises don't pay the bills, and they certainly don't keep investors happy. He was being pulled in two directions, and both were tearing him apart. The tension between Chloe and Mark intensified, a silent war waged in their shared apartment. Chloe, with her subtle barbs, questioning his decisions, implying he was too easily manipulated by his mother. And Mark, feeling suffocated, resentful of her relentless pressure. I tried to offer advice, to guide him, but he pushed me away. He felt caught in the middle, and in his confusion, he lashed out at the closest target. Me. Elena, this casserole is interesting. So traditional. Mark, darling, remember that amazing fusion place we went to last week? So much more modern. It's good, Chloe. Mom's cooking is always good. So, Mom, how's your bridge club? My bridge club is delightful, Chloe. We discuss many things, including sometimes the importance of family legacies and how some things, once built, are meant to endure. Oh, absolutely. Legacies are so important, especially when they're clear, transparent, no ambiguities. Right, Mark? Can we just enjoy dinner, please? The dinner, meant to clear the air, devolved into passive-aggressive remarks, thinly veiled accusations. We all left feeling worse, but I wasn't just going to sit back and watch my son be torn apart. I had to understand Chloe, truly understand her. And so I started digging. And that's when I found it. Not through some grand investigation, but a casual online search, a mutual acquaintance's social media. Chloe, her polished exterior, her ambition, it all made sense. She had been engaged before, to a young man, a promising artist, but one with an unstable career. The engagement had been broken off, abruptly. The reason, subtly hinted at in old forum posts and hushed comments from acquaintances, financial insecurity. His lack of a clear, stable path. It wasn't just about the apartment, it was about a pattern. A deep-seated need for financial security, bordering on calculation. My initial suspicions, the feeling that she was too sweet, too artificial, were confirmed. This wasn't just a property dispute. This was a clash of values. A hidden agenda. I now had a secret weapon, but using it could irrevocably damage my relationship with Mark. The unraveling had truly begun. The revelation of Chloe's past fueled my protective instincts. It wasn't just a feeling anymore, it was a fact. She had a history of prioritizing financial security, of leaving relationships when that security was threatened. I had to warn Mark, but how? How do you tell your son that the woman he loves might be using him without sounding like a jealous, overbearing mother? I tried to hint, to subtly guide him, but he dismissed my concerns as jealousy. He was blind or perhaps unwilling to see. And in his blindness, he pushed me further away. At work, Mark's projects spiraled. The technical difficulties became insurmountable. A key team member, overwhelmed by the pressure, resigned. Mark was drowning, his focus divided, his energy depleted. He was trying to hold on to two worlds, and both were slipping through his fingers. And Chloe, seeing his vulnerability, saw an opportunity. She became more aggressive, more demanding. Mark, this is ridiculous. Your mother isn't budging. We need to take this seriously. I've been doing some research. We should hire a lawyer, someone who can mediate this, force her hand if necessary. A lawyer? Chloe, are you serious? This is my family. You want to sue my mother? What kind of person does that? What kind of person? The kind of person who doesn't want to be left with nothing if things go wrong. The kind of person who doesn't want to be left with nothing if things go wrong. This is about our future. Don't you care about that? I care about trust, Chloe. And this feels like a betrayal. Diana, Chloe's mother, became a more prominent player in this unfolding drama. She wasn't just advising Chloe, she was actively strategizing. I heard snippets from Mark, overheard phone calls. Diana was pushing Chloe towards legal avenues, reminding her of her own past struggles with financial insecurity. It made me understand Chloe a little more, perhaps. Her mother's history, her own childhood, had shaped her. She wasn't just mercenary, she was afraid. Afraid of being vulnerable, of being left without a safety net. But understanding didn't mean I agreed with her methods. And Mark's best friend, Jake, a loyal and pragmatic soul, tried to offer Mark objective advice. He urged him to communicate, to be open, but Mark was too emotionally entangled, too hurt to listen. Look, man, I get it. You're in a tough spot. You gotta talk to them, both of them. Lay it all out. What you want, what you need. Don't let them fight through you. It's not that simple, Jake. Chloe sees red every time I mention my mom. And my mom, she just sees Chloe as some gold digger. I can't win. Someone has to. Or you're going to lose everything. The emotional toll on Mark was immense. He was a man torn, his loyalty constantly tested. He started to question everything. Chloe's love, my trust. He was losing himself in the crossfire. And I, seeing his pain, felt a pang of guilt. Was I being too stubborn? Too protective? But then I remembered Chloe's past, her calculated ambition, and my resolve hardened. I believed I was protecting him, even if it meant he hated me for a while. Chloe, meanwhile, became more isolated, more desperate. She was losing control, and that terrified her. She feared losing Mark, yes, but more than that, she feared losing her dream of financial stability, of a secure future. Every conversation is a minefield. Every glance, a judgment. Am I a fool for loving her? Am I a bad son for not bending to her will? My head aches. My heart aches. I just want it to stop. I just want peace. But there's no peace to be found, not anymore. Not with this constant pressure, this unspoken accusation in Chloe's eyes, this quiet disappointment in my mother's, and then the point of no return. Chloe, frustrated by Mark's inaction and my unwavering refusal, made a drastic move. A move that would shatter everything. She secretly contacted a real estate lawyer, not just to mediate, but to explore options for forcing the apartment transfer, or at the very least, securing her future claim. She was advised on legal loopholes on prenuptial agreements, and Mark, by sheer accident, stumbled upon it. A legal document, on her laptop, related to property transfer. The betrayal was complete. Chloe, what is this? What have you done? A lawyer? You went behind my back. You were planning to sue my mother? To take her home? Mark, I can explain. I was just exploring options. I needed to protect myself. You weren't doing anything. Your mother wasn't doing anything. What was I supposed to do? Just sit back and watch my future disappear? My future? What about our future, Chloe? What about trust? How could you do this? How could you even think of doing this? This isn't about security anymore. This is about manipulation. This is about you. And what about your mother, Mark? She's manipulating you. She's holding on to that apartment just to control you, to control us. She doesn't want us to be happy. Get out, Chloe. Just get out. I can't even look at you right now. She moved out, back to her mother's. The engagement effectively broken. Mark, devastated. And I felt a bittersweet victory. I had been right, but at what cost? The battle had been won, but the scars would remain. The separation, though painful, forced Mark to confront the reality of his relationship with Chloe. He was angry initially. Angry at me, angry at Chloe, angry at the world. But as the dust settled, as the raw emotion began to subside, he started to see Chloe's actions in a new light. He called me one evening, his voice quiet, vulnerable. He asked me to tell him everything, and so I did. I revealed the full extent of my investigation, the previous broken engagement, the pattern of prioritizing financial security. It was a harsh truth for him, a painful awakening, but it was necessary. He needed to see her for who she truly was, not just the woman he loved. And this story, the pieces are falling into place. The subtle comments, the constant pressure, the lawyer. It wasn't just about the apartment. It was never just about the apartment. It was about control, about fear. Her fear. And I was just a means to an end. A stepping stone to the security she craved. My mother, she saw it. She tried to warn me, and I dismissed her. I was so blind, so stupid. How could I have been so wrong about someone I loved? The climax arrived in a sterile, neutral meeting room. A family friend, a counselor, had offered to mediate. Mark, Chloe, Diana, and I. The air was thick with unspoken accusations, with years of resentment. Mark, no longer the naive young man, confronted Chloe. He laid out his hurt, his betrayal, and Chloe, cornered, finally broke. She admitted her fears, her deep-seated financial insecurity stemming from a childhood marked by scarcity. She spoke of her resentment towards me for holding on to the apartment, for what she perceived as my control over Mark's life. It wasn't an excuse, but it was a moment of raw, painful honesty, a glimpse into the wounded child beneath the ambitious facade. I was so scared, Mark. So scared of ending up like my parents. Always struggling, always worried about money. This apartment was supposed to be our fresh start. Our foundation. And when your mother, when she wouldn't let go, I panicked. I felt like I was losing everything. I know it was wrong. I know I hurt you. But I was just trying to protect myself. To protect us. She's always been like that. Ever since she was a little girl. Saw what I went through. Didn't want that for herself. I pushed her, I admit. I wanted her to be secure. Maybe I pushed too hard. I understand your fear, Chloe. I do. But you didn't trust me. You didn't trust my mother. You tried to force something that wasn't yours. That's not how you build a life together. The main conflict was resolved, not with the transfer of property, but with a clear, albeit painful, understanding of motivations. Mark realized that while he loved Chloe, their fundamental values were incompatible. Trust, family, financial security. They saw these things through different lenses, and with a quiet, resolute strength I hadn't seen in him before, he chose to end the engagement. It was a painful decision, but it was his decision. And in that moment, I felt a renewed sense of pride. My son, finally standing on his own 2 feet. I can't do this, Chloe. Not like this. I wish you all the best. But we're done. Mark transformed. From a naive young man, caught between 2 strong women, he emerged assertive, self-aware. He learned to trust his instincts, to stand up for himself. And I learned too. I learned that protecting my son sometimes meant allowing him to experience pain, to learn from his own mistakes. Chloe, though losing the relationship, gained a painful but necessary understanding of her own insecurities. She was left to confront her patterns, to find a healthier path forward. The emotional peak moments were etched in my memory. Mark's devastation, my confession, Chloe's raw honesty, and Mark's quiet, resolute decision. The truth, finally, had set us free, albeit with a heavy heart. Months passed. The raw wounds began to heal. Mark, my son, slowly rebuilt his life. He immersed himself in his work, and the project that had once been in crisis was now thriving. He earned the respect of his colleagues, not just for his technical prowess, but for his newfound resilience. Our relationship, once strained, blossomed. We spent more time together, not out of obligation, but out of genuine connection. The ordeal had, in a strange way, brought us closer. Chloe, I heard, had moved to a different city. A fresh start. I hoped, for her sake, that she had found a new perspective on relationships, on what truly matters beyond financial security. Mom, I wanted to thank you for everything, for standing your ground, for seeing what I couldn't. You were right. You're a good man, Mark, and you'll find the right woman, one who loves you for who you are, not for what you have. I often reflect on those tumultuous months. Was I a protective mother? Did my actions ultimately drive a wedge between my son and the woman he loved? When does protecting your child become controlling their life? The apartment remains mine, a symbol of my journey, my legacy. But its true value now lies not in its bricks and mortar, but in the lessons learned, the growth achieved, the bond strengthened. It's not a fairy tale ending, no. Life rarely is. But it's a realistic portrayal of growth, of the enduring challenges of human connection. And perhaps that's a more satisfying story to tell. Thank you for listening to the Brooklyn Inheritance. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Was Elena right to protect her son's inheritance, or should she have prioritized his relationship? What would you have done in her shoes? Share your opinions in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more compelling audio dramas. Your support helps us bring these stories to life. Until next time, remember, sometimes the greatest battles are fought not with swords, but with words, and the deepest truths are found in the quiet reflections of a mother's heart.